Dial 1-877-650-4249. To hear the cost of this call, press 8 now. To accept this call, press 5 now. To decline this call, hang up. This call is subject to monitoring and recording. Do not use three-way or call waiting features during this call. Thank you for using Global Tel-Link.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, Paul. How's it going today?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Have we talked before, or is this first time?
This is our first time.
Okay. Yeah. Kent, I was supposed to call you Tuesday, but I didn't realize. I looked at the paper later on, and I seen it was AM. It was too late. I was waiting for the PM, 9:45, I mean. So that's why I didn't call that day. I just didn't look at it close enough.
That is fine. As it turned out, Tuesday probably wasn't the best day for me. I actually have a lot of free time right now, so it's kind of nice.
Okay.
So yeah.
You want to turn to...
In the past, I've probably interviewed Kent several times. I guess now, since this is the first time we've chatted, I guess there's probably some questions I'd like to ask you if you'd like to have the public know about it, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I guess probably the first big question I like to just let you explain upon is kind of how do you fit into this case, and like after Kent's been in prison for so long, like how did you get into the mix? You want to just explain that for a little bit?
Yeah, I first come into contact right before Kent got indicted, or not before, I mean right after he got indicted. We basically contacted him. I was working with a guy that's beat the IRS over 50 times, and his whole premise of his case was to keep the burden of proof on the IRS. And in reality, Kent had no legal duty to do anything for the government as far as taxes. So, and that was something that the attorney that Kent hired failed to challenge in court. All he had to do was put a agent in the witness stand and ask him, what did you rely upon that Kent or Creation Science Evangelism had a duty to collect taxes for the United States? And he would not have been able to answer that under penalties of perjury, because there is no duty. All relationships with the United States are by consent, by contract. If you want their benefits, you contract with them. If you don't want their benefits, you don't contract with them. But they don't like to tell you that you have an option. So basically, I called Kent and told him of his best defense would be keeping the burden of proof on them and not hiring an attorney. We told Kent that if you do hire an attorney, your chances of winning are almost zero. We win almost all our cases with no attorney. We would lose all the cases where the attorneys are hired, because the attorneys are pretty much trained not to make sure they don't ask the right questions. I think they're actually coached. They're threatened by the system or by the judge to stay away from a certain parameter of questioning, and they do it, because we coached attorneys on the simplicity of the case, how to win it, and lo and behold, they go to court and they don't do it, and their client loses. Off to jail they go, 5-10 years. It's just horrendously. I don't know how they can do it with the conscience, but they do it because it's one of the largest money-making ventures in the world, and the United States is the beneficiary, is benefiting from it. So that's how I first met Ken, as I just called him, and then he was impressed with my ability to understand the law and so forth, and he gave me contact with a guy called Glenn Stoll, and Glenn Stoll became more impressed, and then they ended up offering me an opportunity.
This call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
Offering me an opportunity to be a trustee for the Creation Science Evangelism, who when it's operating has about 40 employees. But so I took that at no pay. I've never got paid to do anything for Creation Science Evangelism. And does that help answer some of your questions?
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so now that you're in prison, how like what are you seeing like as a timeline for your future right now?
Well, we're supposed to have trial February 9th, I believe, and something went wrong. It seems like it's common, but when I went into court, I told the judge that I did not want assistance of counsel during that particular hearing, but I did want assistance of counsel after the hearing to have the attorneys aid me in running through the tangled mess of the courts and their process and so forth. Because I've been in court hundreds of times, and the courts are designed for you to absolutely fail if they want you to. They make it almost impossible for you to bring in challenges that will affect the outcome of the case, especially in territorial jurisdiction challenges or limited scope of the IRS written law, as we discussed just a moment ago. They do everything they can to block that because they know that you can win the case easily on it. So, as a layman, they just deny your opportunity to do it, and you can't get anything done. So what I do is I go ahead and take on Sixth Amendment counsel, and that way they don't have any excuse. You know, the attorney is supposed to help run those challenges in there. But anyway, I told the judge that I wanted counsel before I left, and I had the understanding that I did. So I sat for a whole month and nothing was done, or 3 weeks, and then I finally put a motion to compel in because the attorneys, but the counsel that's been appointed to me hasn't even contacted me or done anything for me in any real way at all, or virtually nothing. And then they finally got into court, and then we find out that I was never appointed. There was never a record of being appointed counsel. He was only standby counsel, and they just stand by. They don't do anything. So we got that turned around to appointed counsel, and then I think he's going to be a really good asset for me and so they're considering continuing the case for another 30 or 60 days. So I've been in jail since October 23rd, so getting a little tired sitting in a county jail in Florida. So we don't know when they're going to have trial. If we get all the witnesses subpoenaed and all the evidence previewed, we'll go to trial February 9th. If not, continue another 30 days or 60 days. Hopefully the judges will let me out on release of my own recognizance down here in Florida, and I won't have to sit in jail. It's rather ridiculous that I'd have to sit in jail and wait for something like this. It's absolutely a nonviolent charge, and there's no reason to think that I'm going to spend the rest of my life running from the feds or something little like this. They shouldn't have me in jail at all in the first place. So go ahead.
Okay, so after you say that, and now that we kind of know how like your future might be planned out a little bit, what are some things that you think us as the public could do in any way to be in support of your case? Since you've been in jail, I'd say the last 3 months, the public appearance of your case has definitely gained a lot of momentum. There's people are interviewing you, and Kent, they're sharing the information, and the information is getting out. What is some stuff that you'd specifically want the public to do at this time?
I suppose they could write the public defender and just tell them that this seems to be over heavy-handed prosecution. And just tell them that they're watching the case very close, and that none of this is going to be hid behind closed doors. And actually, I'm charged with. Let's say you and I are walking down the sidewalk, and we walk by a house, and I point at that house and I say, the government claims they took that house away from me, but I believe, I have a lot of research to show that they didn't have authority to do that. And that when they took that, it cost me $1 million. And I'm eventually gonna go to court and prevail. Okay, so an IRS agent is walking behind us, and
This call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
and the guy I just told that to, he turns around and tells the IRS agent what I told him. So a week later, a SWAT team shows up and aims guns at my head and arrest me for fraud. That's about what this amounts to. There is no document filed into the court record or the registered deeds in relationship to the charge that they're coming after me on. And even if there was, it wouldn't be a crime. Nothing was ever stalled as far as the sale of the property or anything. We friends of family of Kent is people that actually bought the property back from the IRS. So it's just ridiculous. The attorneys, all three attorneys that have looked at this case, just shake their heads like, what is wrong with these people? You guys didn't even do anything wrong, and they're coming after you. Wouldn't somebody think that after Kent's been in jail for 8.5 years that they would just say, hey, just let this slide? He's been in jail 8.5 years. You really think he's going to do it again? They don't have any compassion. They just want to put him in jail for another 5 or 10 years for doing absolutely nothing wrong. And then, let's just say instead of me walking down the sidewalk and telling you that, I wrote you a letter and mailed it to you. Okay, now they add mail fraud to it. So they add another 0 to 20 years to it. Like, I'm supposed to drive 1,600 miles and just sit down and tell you this story. But instead I just wrote it on a piece of paper and sent it to you. Therefore, it's all of a sudden mail fraud. It's just over heavy-handed abuse. And there's now biblically, it cannot be a crime. Biblically, it cannot be a crime. Nobody's been damaged. We have every right to claim that we own a property, that we believe that we own a property, and have access to a people's court to bring it into court. See, what we're gonna do when Kent gets out of jail is we're gonna pull together a Seventh Amendment court. Now, Seventh Amendment court is a 1791 part of the Bill of Rights. And it's 1791. They put 10 Bill of Rights together. Number 7 says it presents this court, and it says that no U.S. court can overthrow this court. Okay, that is a court of right, the same as the other Bill of Rights, and they have their duty. The Bill of Rights informs the United States that they're supposed to recognize that court and allow it to operate their system, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to convene that court. There's no U.S. judges involved. There's no U.S. attorneys that are allowed to speak, and we'll get to the bottom of this. All we have to do is put the IRS agents in the witness stand and ask them the questions that the system denied in the hearings prior, and then we'll just turn when they can't answer why they destroyed Kent's life. Then we'll just turn to the jury and say, well, what do you believe the damages should be? So, go ahead.
Okay. So while you're there in the prison, do you get to see Kent at all, or are you two like separated?
We're not allowed to go into any rooms together or any meetings or anything. So if I wanted to go to
You have 60 seconds remaining.
if I wanted to go to a Bible study and Kent's going, I can't go. And if I'm already signed up and going, he can't go. So they don't allow us to see each other.
Okay.
Which is crazy because this place is full of co-defendants, and they're always together that I've seen, so that they can co-defend themselves.
Wow, that's interesting. Sometimes makes me
You want me
wonder.
to call you back after it hangs up?
How about you call me back in a couple hours and I have some time to convene with some people.
Okay. Should I call you back in 2 hours then?
Yeah. Yep.
Is that what you said? Okay.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that. Yeah.
Yep.
I'll have some questions written out to answer for you, and we'll go from there.
Great. Thanks so much.
Okay.
See you later.
Okay, bye.
That was Dr. Paul Hansen.